take a moment and just allow your eyes to close. And just allow yourself to take a moment and reconnect within. There's so much movement in the world around us. So much constant change. So many places to put our attention and our focus. But allow yourself for just a moment to withdraw from all of that, all of the activity, all of the movement, all of that which excites the sensory organs. And just take a moment to pull inward. And just allow yourself for a moment to anchor and connect with that that doesn't change. That which is not high or low, up or down, succeeding or failing, in joy or in misery. Connect with that of yourself that just is. It just is. It's not happy or sad, not busy or tired or refreshed or excited. It just is. Allow yourself to just anchor in that experience. There is a light that burns within you. And if the mind gets distracted, just gently bring it back. Dropping it down into that light, into that eternally burning flame, the Akhand Jyot within you. Never changing. That which the candle, the light illuminates is changing. Moment to moment, birth to birth. But the light itself, it never changes. Anchor your awareness in that light. And open your eyes. So we usually start satsang with a question that's come in advance from our family joining us from all over the world through technology. But tonight I know that we already have some questions. And since we are off to a bit of a later start than usual, I wanted to just jump right in and offer you the chance. Yes, you and then you. Yeah. The mic is just behind you.
Okay, here we go. Okay, thank you for taking my question. I come from a finance background, and what I've observed over the years is that where we are in the world today, we really need an evolution of consciousness, especially in that business world, in that world of finance, which is moving so much money around. And I'm currently being certified as a meditation teacher, so part of my mission is to bring that consciousness into that world.
Wonderful.
And I was just asking for, maybe you have some advice, what's like a good way to approach this, to bring that consciousness into that part of the world. Yeah.
So he's in the business world, but he knows that we need to bring more consciousness into the business world. And he's looking for thoughts, ideas on that. Beautiful. So the way that business works, at the very core bottom line for those of us who are not finance or economic experts at all, is a very, very simple rule called supply and demand. Typically, the way that it works is we want something, we demand it, and whoever can supply it best, their business is the one that flourishes. We've been talking the last few nights about the illusion and the lure of this anti-aging kind of whole thing that's going on. So you take something like that. Well, there's a demand. People want to not age. Those who are able to supply it or pretend to supply it or show some sign of being able to supply something that makes people feel ageless are going to be good businesses. If you supply something nobody demands, in business they'd say that's a stupid mistake. However, business and news both have one thing in common, one interesting thing in common. A lot of times when you talk to media people, newspaper, magazines, TV, what they say is, because it's all negative news. Whatever you read, it's depressing, it's upsetting. And what they always say is, well, that's what people want. If we don't provide this negative news, people won't read it, they won't watch it. People want negative. But the truth really is that when you run a newspaper, a magazine, a TV station, any kind of news, you're not actually just reporting the news, you're actually making the news. The same thing applies a lot in business. You're not just a victim of the law of supply and demand, because business also includes a lot of advertising. Business is not just about products. It's about marketing. It's about awareness raising. It's about a creation of demand. And what that means is, if you're a business person, your highest calling is not just about how do I respond to a demand that has been created anyway by things, news platforms, social media platforms, commercial platforms, that make people feel like they need more, cheaper, in order to be happy. You're not just a victim.
हम सबके पूज्य बड़े महाराजा श्री
Feeling like they need shopping therapy because they're depressed or frustrated or bored. And so it's not just how much stuff can we produce to alleviate people's boredom or frustration and distract them with a new pair of shoes and convince them that if they just have a new shoes or new handbag or a new model of mobile phone, that their depression will go away. Because that's what most business marketing does. We're not actually selling products. We're producing products. But what we're selling is happiness. If you look at commercials for things like, take something like soap, okay? Very simple product, everybody uses it. What does soap do? Cleans you. So an honest advertisement for soap would say this brand of soap cleans you this much better than that brand of soap. But that's not what the advertisements do. What are advertisements for soap like? Right, you've got a beautiful, beautiful woman, and she's lathering up in the shower in the morning as she's singing to herself, and then her equally beautiful husband comes into the bathroom, and he also sings as he's getting ready, and then they walk out of the bathroom happy and singing, and their child has miraculously gotten himself out of bed, made his breakfast, gotten himself dressed, done his homework, made his school bag together. And the three of them walk out of the house together, and it says zest. Right? Now, nowhere have we spoken about cleanliness. Nowhere did we talk about bacteria. Nowhere did we talk about smell. We're selling happy families. Oh, I don't sing in the shower in the morning. My husband doesn't sing in the bathroom. It means I should now buy this brand of soap. Because then, my God, my kid's going to get himself out of bed and do his homework and eat his breakfast. We do the same thing. You look at car commercials, and they usually fall in one of two categories. Either they're selling happy families, or they're selling freedom. So those who feel too free, they always want families. So the cars are happy to sell them that. And those who have families want freedom. So you've got some car commercials that are, like a sports car type, and it's a convertible, and it's being driven off. Hair is flowing in the wind, off into the sunset. Now, again, we're not selling airbags or anti-skid brakes or fuel consumption. We're selling freedom. And if you're on the other side, they're selling beautiful SUVs where, the husband and wife are sitting together up front, very happy. And the kids are sitting in the back seat, and they're singing or playing a game together. And you think, my God, my kids try to kill each other in the back seat of the car. If I just had that model of car. And so again, we're not buying transportation. We're not buying fuel efficiency. We're not buying safety. We're buying happiness. We're buying freedom. And the marketers know exactly what we need. And so this is the way that they're marketing to us. Consciousness in business means many things. It means, number one, the product we produce is in alignment with our ethical, moral values. It is not polluting the air, the soil, the water. It is not being produced by women and children in sweatshops. Chemicals are not being used in the production that are turning factory workers or farmers into cancer patients and giving their children birth defects because of what's being inhaled in the factory or in the farm. So that's one aspect of it. But the whole other aspect of conscious business is, how do we create demand for that which actually is healthy for us and healthy for our societies? It's easy to sell chocolate and chips and French fries and all of the ways that they use subliminal messaging in commercials to make you really want that roast beef sandwich. But neither is it good for you, nor is it good for the cow, nor is it good for the starving people on the planet, nor is it good for our environment. Can we use advertising and marketing to actually create demand for things that are of value in our lives? Instead of trying to get people to stare at their devices more and more, can we create things that turn people's attention back to what matters, back to their families, back to their spiritual practice? Can we market and advertise things that are organic, that are fair trade, that keep our farms and farmers, our factory workers, healthy? Can we create demand for things that don't require the desecration of our natural world to produce? That's consciousness in business. So it's in the products you produce. It's in the way you produce them. It's in your own office setting, right? Are you one of those businesses that, pushes people to work 100-hour work weeks? Or are you part of a business that actually encourages people to take time to do yoga, to meditate, to take a walk, to gather together? What are you rewarding? But it's also about creating demand. Because if we keep doing the same things, we're going to end up in the same place. Miserable, lonely, sick, in debt, stressed out, and with a planet that's falling apart. So we need the business aspect of society to be those who direct our attention, our focus, and also the energy of our dollars, rupees, euros, pounds in healthy directions. There's nothing wrong with making money. Do business, but do business that benefits society. Let people spend their money, their hard-earned money, on something that actually benefits them. You mentioned that you've been doing a meditation program to become a meditation teacher. Well, that's so beautiful. And meditation is an aspect of yoga. And an aspect of what Patanjali calls the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. The 7th limb before samadhi is dhyan, or meditation. But the very first limb is yam, or what in English frequently we call the yamas. Right? First one, ahimsa, non-violence. Second, satya, truthfulness. Third, asteya, non-stealing. If I am using my money, or my technology, or my know-how, or my power to convince people to spend their money on something that harms them but benefits me, it violates the very principles of a yogic life. It is violent, it is false, and it is stealing. I may not have broken into their home in the night to steal their money, but if I've created a 60-second commercial or an ad on social media with all of the technology that I know about marketing and advertisement and persuasion to get people to click here, buy now, who wouldn't otherwise click here, buy now, that is stealing. Let us be really clear. It is stealing. It's stealing their money. It's stealing their time. So let business become something that actually brings benefit to the planet. There's so many things that we need that would actually help us. Stay healthy, have more time. Clear away the nonsense from our lives. Have a healthier environment. Live more sustainably. Learn more quickly. Learn more easily. Learn more things. Use business to benefit the world. Let your business and your meditation go together. Beautiful. Yeah, other questions? And then you. You're right after him. Yes.
Namaste, Sadhviji. It's always a pleasure to listen to you speak. Over the last 4 days since the first satsang I've attended, there has been a question that has been with me, and it's been constantly on my mind. And now just a while ago I realized that it's been pulling me away from what's in front of me, because I've been asking myself, how do I ask the right question? How do I say this the right way? So I want to take this opportunity to ask, how do we not fall into such loops of perfectionism or others that keep us mentally, emotionally away from what's in front of us?
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, perfectionism. Perfectionism, it cripples us. It absolutely makes us unable to move smoothly, to move well, to move healthily. It thwarts us, it blocks us from actually achieving not just the goals we've set for ourselves, but actually achieving the highest goal of our birth, which is the awareness of who we are. The awareness of that divinity within ourselves, because the voice of perfection says, you're not good enough yet. You're not right. You're not smart enough. You're not articulate enough. You're not this enough. You're not that enough. And it constantly makes us feel less than, not good enough. And when the truth of who we are is divinity, Those of you who were here last night saw our little sister, daughter, Vanya. Little Vanya, who I had come up and sit with me last night, who was so worried because when she gets bad marks in school, she feels really badly about herself. Because we've identified ourselves with the responses that the world gives us. We get an A, we feel, I'm great. We get an F, we feel I'm useless. So perfectionism is the voice in our head that essentially says, I'm never going to turn in the paper because I'm so convinced that it's still not an A, that I'm not going to let myself have that feeling of getting anything other than an A. Therefore, I actually find myself never finishing it. Perfectionists, interestingly, are not those who do everything perfectly. Very frequently, perfectionists are those who finish almost nothing because their own minds thwart them so much that they can't finish it. So it's not about, I have finally finished a perfect essay. But it's actually the voice that keeps you awake night after night, preventing you from finishing it. Because you're so sure it's not quite right. On a deep psychological level, perfectionism is actually a defense mechanism. It's a defense mechanism to prevent us from ever having to face failure. If I don't turn it in, there's no chance I'm going to get a bad grade. If I don't ask my question, there's no chance everybody's going to laugh at me. If I don't show you my true self, if I don't take risks, if I don't step up to the plate of my life, nobody will ever make fun of me. They'll never laugh at me. They'll never think I'm stupid. I'll never be humiliated because I'll never try. I just won't do it. If I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. And so perfectionism, far from actually making us perfect, it makes us stuck. The only way out of perfectionism is to actually stare it straight on, to look at it, to see it for exactly what it is, to bow to it, to say thank you for trying to protect me from failure, from embarrassment. But I'm actually much more afraid of never opening my heart. I'm actually much more afraid of living my life in jail, in a box, chained to my own preconceptions. So even though this I know isn't perfect, it's good enough. It's good enough. Because the core of who you are is perfect. So it doesn't mean everything you do is perfect. But who you are is divine. Who you are is inseparable from the perfect divine, the perfect supreme reality. Doesn't mean you're going to be good at everything. In fact, no one is good at everything. If you've never failed, it means you've never tried. It means you've never taken a risk. Life is about blossoming, growing, thriving, is about having the courage to fail, because if not, you have no idea what you really can do. If you don't take risks, then sure, you might not fail, but you'll also never succeed. You might never feel embarrassed, but you'll also never feel exalted and exhilarated, because you'll never actually try. So perfectionism is that literally keeps us in a box. It keeps us small. It keeps us low. And you've got to just stare at it straight on and say, thank you so much for your care and love. Now get out of my way. Get out of my way. Because today I'm putting the keys of my life in the hands of courage, not perfectionism. It's up to you. Who's going to drive the car of your life? You want perfectionism to drive it? Every single time you look out the window, you're going to discover you're in exactly the same place. You let courage drive it. You may make some wrong turns every once in a while. You might even run out of gas sometimes. But you're actually going to be able to achieve, to reach the highest places with that open heart, with that courage, with that self-confidence. So never give it the keys to your life. But acknowledge it. It's trying to protect you. And then just gently and lovingly move it out of the way. Wonderful. Yeah. 1 second. Yes. Always, youth always gets priority. And then, yes.
How to remain happy? Because I notice so many people overthink.
Okay. Want to sit? Good. What is your name?
Myra.
Maida. Beautiful name. Okay. First part of your question was how to remain happy. And then give me the second part.
Because I notice so many people overthink.
So many people overthink. Overthink. Yes, exactly. So when you overthink, do you overthink? No. Wonderful. Good. Raise your hand if you have ever fallen into the pit of overthinking. See everyone out there? We all do it. You're very lucky. Now, but the good news is overthinking is just a habit. That's all it is. It's just a habit. Some people bite their fingernails, some people crack their knuckles, some people twirl their hair, right? And you don't even notice that you're doing it because it's just become a habit. Some people, they sit, and their leg kind of goes like this while they're sitting. And it's just a habit. You don't even notice my leg is moving or my hand is moving. In the same way, when we are not aware of our mind, the mind goes into overdrive, overthinking. Because of course, when we're overthinking, it's not just about the quantity. See, when you say overthinking, it means too much thinking. Well, thinking is not a problem as long as we can also stop it when we would like to stop it. And when mostly we can think about what we want to think about. If I'm going to sit and meditate, and I'm going to use a practice of Gyan Yoga, introspection, and I'm going to ask myself, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I want my mind to be able to do that. I don't want it to be making shopping lists. I don't want it to be thinking about the annoying person who sits in the, cubicle next to me at work. I want to be thinking, who am I? Not the one who goes grocery shopping. Not the one who goes to work. Who am I? So I want my mind to be able to follow the instructions of what you could call my higher self. And we have the ability to do that. It's not that we don't. Right now, in your mind, think about what you'd like to have for dinner. Whatever it may be, just think about it in your mind. What would you like most to eat for dinner? Okay, now think about what you'd like to have for breakfast tomorrow morning. Now think about who your favorite person in the world is. You could do it, right? You could direct your mind what to think. The dilemma is we usually are not paying attention to the mind, and so it runs all over the place. It's like if you've ever had a new puppy dog and you're trying to train a puppy dog. Well, if you don't train it properly, it's going to run all over, it's going to pee everywhere, it's going to destroy your furniture. So you train it. You work with it, you train it. And the mind, we can train it also. There's a lot of ways to train the mind. A very, very great way is what we call a practice of japa. Do you know any mantra?
Yes.
Okay, you have to use the microphone. What mantra do you know?
Om Bhurbhava Swaha.
Great, can you say it all for us?
Om Bhurbhava Swaha Tatsavadorvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat.
Beautiful. So if you're saying that, is your mind thinking about 10 other things at the same time? Nope. Because you know what? I'll give you a secret. The mind actually can only think about one thing at a time. Those of us who think we overthink, it's not that we actually think many things at once. It's that what we are thinking changes in very rapid succession. But if we keep our mind focused on one thing, a mantra, our breath, a word, Om, a name of God, or even a much simpler mantra, something like Soham, I am that, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the divine. Something very, very simple also works. And it keeps the mind focused. And then I learn slowly, slowly, slowly to keep my mind focused. It's why we meditate. Meditation is that trains our mind. Do you play any musical instrument? Do you play any sport? What sport do you play?
Badminton.
Great. So you play badminton. Do you practice badminton? Yeah, right? I mean, you couldn't just go out to play if you never practiced and expect to be able to play well, right? Right? I mean, if I said to you, I've never played badminton before, but I'm gonna come out there and I'm gonna play a game of badminton. You'd want to teach me how first, right? Maybe you'd give me some pointers. Maybe we could practice together a little. Right? So the mind is the same way. You have to train it. It needs practice. You can't just decide I'm going to stop overthinking any more than I can decide that I'm going to go out onto the ice in an ice skating rink and I'm suddenly going to be able to skate like an Olympic skater. Or any more that I think I'm going to be able to go into a gym and lift a 100-pound barbell if I don't work out. No way. I haven't trained that muscle. I haven't developed the skills. And the mind works just like a muscle. What you do with it, it gets used to doing. If I sit here and I do this all day long, my hands are going to do it even when I don't think about it. And if I let my mind go all over the place, that's what my mind is going to do. So I use meditation, I use mantra, I use mindfulness in life. When you're walking, instead of looking at your phone while you walk, watch your breath, chant a mantra. Most people, when they walk, they're talking on the phone or they're looking at their phone. It means you're not here in this moment. And if I'm not here, then I cannot be helping my mind. Then my mind is somewhere else. So you've got to bring your attention here. Bring your awareness here. Watch the mind. And then train it to do exactly what you want it to do. Think about it like a puppy dog. Don't get mad at it. Don't hit it. But just train it with love. Okay? Good. Thank you. Other questions? Okay. We'll take just one more question tonight. Yes. Come.
Namaste. It's my pleasure being here. Namaste. This is my first satsang session.
Welcome.
Yeah. Feeling very good. Like many people attended this session from different parts of the world. Yeah. My question is, what is patience?
What is patience? Beautiful. Patience is an acceptance of the perfection of this very moment. It's an acceptance of the perfection of this very moment. Impatience says to me, there is something better, and until I get it, I will not rest. Something needs to be different, and until it happens, I cannot be in peace. So patience is, yes, there may be something even more perfect. And in the future, it may be here. Through what I do, through what someone else does, through simply the laws of nature. If you're patient enough, the heat will go away. We will eventually have winter again. We don't have to do anything. No one has to do anything. It's the nature of nature. If you're patient, it will rain eventually. But sometimes we're impatient for something because we're working on it. We want to get it done. We want to achieve it. Sometimes we're impatient that someone else should do something, change in a certain way, deliver something, become something. But that impatience says to me, and it says to the world, there is a problem in this moment, and it will only be solved when things are different. And the problem with that is you lose all of the minutes of your life. Because even when what you were impatient for finally happens, then you're impatient for something else. Because that's the nature of the mind. As we desire, those desires create more desires, create more desires. So I am impatient for dinner. Then I'm impatient to watch a movie before bed. Then I'm impatient for this phone call. Then I'm impatient in the morning for breakfast. Whatever it is. Every minute we're impatient for the next thing. So the solution to impatience is to just keep reminding yourself the present moment is perfect. Right here, right now, in this place, in this breath, I am okay. Yeah, I have goals. I have hopes, wishes. No problem. They get fulfilled, wonderful. They don't get fulfilled, I'm okay. We're all good. This moment, this breath, it's all perfect. Beautiful. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. A quick logistic note, which is we will not have satsang tomorrow. We'll be back the day after tomorrow. I'm going to Mumbai tomorrow for one day. I'll be back the day after, so I won't have the joy of being with you tomorrow, but I look so forward to being back with you again day after tomorrow. But of course, all of our other beautiful daily activities, the yoga, the meditation, the morning yajna, the evening arti, everything is on. And everything is open to everyone. There's no charge for anything here.